Alright, so we're drawing a root tip here, and this is from a wheat seedling that's just a couple of days old. We have its main root there, the radicle. We're going to talk about the different parts of that root. So that's kind of the general form that we're seeing. And then on the tip we have some cells that form the root cap, and it forms kind of a cylinder or maybe a sock over the tip here for that root cap. And the root cap really helps to protect this young root growing through those huge soil particles. It is a loose arrangement of cells. It also has or secretes a mucilage. Kind of, I don't know, when I think about it, I think about an earthworm and how it's kind of slimy, and that really helps it to move through the soil. So the root cap there is on the very tip of your root. Behind that root cap, hidden inside there, we have a small region, and that small region is the apical meristem. And in eudicots, it's usually has a few cells there as part of the apical meristem. And it's hidden behind the root cap, it's protected by the root cap. And that is the portion of the root that's going to divide by mitosis there. Very near the apical meristem, there's going to be a small portion in that region called the Quiescent Center. And the Quiescent Center rarely goes under mitosis unless perhaps an accident disrupts the apical meristem, then it might start undergoing mitosis again. But it helps to basically keep the meristem, and the other cells. So it maintains the stability of the apical meristem. Then coming back behind the apical meristem, we have a region of the root that is kind of broad and lightish colored there in the middle. And then we also, further back, see some very thin-walled cells coming off and radiating from that outer layer. And these are very long, thin cells coming off of the root on the side. Those are your root hairs. Okay, so right next to the apical meristem, that is our protoderm that surrounds the tissue. Okay, the outside layer is the protoderm. Just inside to that protoderm, looks like we kind of have a darker layer there, just outside that central tissue. And that is some ground meristem. If you're to look at it in cross section, that would surround that central core. Okay. So your ground meristem there. And these are cells or regions, tissues, that are similar to what we saw in the shoot apical meristem. And then the center here would be the procambium, or the protovascular tissue. Okay. That central core. And so these tissues on maturity, that will be your vascular tissue, becoming that central core and this eudicot and the monocot there. The ground meristem will mature into ground tissue, and the protoderm will become dermal tissue. In addition to these changes in tissue types as things mature, the root is also divided into zones. And so the zone of division is at the tip here, and it is the area around the apical meristem. Okay, the zone of division. The zone of elongation is just behind the zone of division. And the zone of elongation continues until that first root hair is seen. So as soon as we see a root hair, that zone is then going to be the zone of differentiation. So here's our root hairs on this side. Okay. And so as soon as we see that root hair, we get our zone of differentiation or maturation.